Tonight, I'm still tracking hazy skies and hot temperatures as our weather impact alert continues. The timing of this forecast. We're tracking several wildfires burning in Washington tonight. The latest on all of those, including one that forced people from their homes in Spokane County today. Plus, Sandpoint city leaders are reconsidering their choice to implement paid parking after the community pushed back. We'll tell you what's next, coming up tonight on your Night Report.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the Night Report here on KREM 2 News. I'm Sydney Schofield. Here's a time lapse of downtown Spokane as the sun set tonight. It was another hot and hazy day here in the inland northwest. We have heat advisories in the area as temperatures are expected to reach the upper 90s tomorrow. We've got meteorologist Cody Proctor in our outdoor weather center tonight. So let's send things over to her. She's closely tracking this weather impact alert that we are still under as we are continuing to see concerns with smoky skies and haze. And we're also seeing some concerns with that heat. It's supposed to get pretty hot out there tomorrow. Cody?
Yeah, Sydney, as we take a look at our forecast right now, even as I've been out here and came back from my dinner break, I could kind of smell a little more smoke in the sky coming back. And we're expecting that poor air quality to stick around with us as we head into tomorrow, as well as some hot temperatures. That's why we have a weather impact alert in the first place. This is through Thursday for us here. Now, as we take a look at our current air quality, we are right on the edge between moderate and unhealthy for some, just barely over that line at 98 AQI for us this evening. We're expecting those conditions to be unhealthy for some and for sensitive groups as we head into tomorrow. Just because we're still tracking the chance for some hazy skies, there is an air quality alert in effect through tomorrow morning. Right now, even as we take a look at our outdoor camera, you can kind of see that little bit of haze over towards the pavilion being reflected in lights. Temperatures right now currently at 79 degrees, very light winds at this time coming out the west-southwest around our region. Most of our temperatures are in those 70s. Looks like we're still hanging on to a few 80s right now, 83 degrees in Othello, 68 in Sandpoint. We also still have this heat advisory. This will be in effect through Thursday night until about 9 o'clock. You can see it impacts most of eastern Washington, towards central Washington, the Idaho Panhandle, down towards Palouse and around Lewiston and Moscow right there from what you can see. Next 12 hours or so, we're not really getting much relief when it comes to that heat. Tomorrow starting off in the mid-60s before we continue to warm up. Could be in the upper 80s by 11 a.m. And our high tomorrow looking to be in those upper 90s. We'll watch that pretty closely because that smoke and potentially maybe some clouds in there could impact those temperatures. More on that coming up in your full forecast.
To our wildfire coverage tonight, a brush fire in southwest Spokane County burned more than 22 acres today, prompting level 3 go now evacuations, forcing people from their homes. At last check, those were downgraded to level 2 get set evacuations. KREM 2's Emily Fox-Millian spoke with people in the area who spent the day preparing for the worst.
People were evacuated out of this area near Tyler. The latest update coming from officials around 4 p.m. confirming that there was no more forward movement with this fire. Take a look. The fire burned about 22 acres. Officials also confirmed that 3 structures were destroyed. That's 2 outbuildings and a barn. One person reported difficulty breathing but declined further medical treatment, and no other injuries have been reported. We also spoke with a neighbor who lives just outside the evacuation zone. He told us he's been packing his belongings just in case the fire spreads towards his property.
You know, getting ready and being ready, since 2 years ago we did get evacuated, we kind of know what to pack. She had already packed some clothes, some documents, and a few things personal, you know, in the car, and she had went to our neighbors, getting ready to go somewhere else.
The cause of this fire still remains under investigation. In Spokane County, Emily Fox-Millian, KREM 2 News.
The Kaiser Canyon fire is burning about a mile away from Nespelem. It's more than 68,000 acres with 0% containment tonight. Level 3 evacuation orders are still in place there. Those evacuations are for Rebecca Lake, Belvedere, Buffalo Lake Road, and Columbia River Campground. A level 2 get set evacuation order is also in effect for parts of Nespelem. We've got a full list of road closures and shelters available right now on our website. That's krem.com. And to the east of the Kaiser Canyon fire, lightning sparked the Modrite fire southwest of Inchelium. Fire officials say it's burned more than 7,900 acres with 0% containment. There are level 3 go now evacuations in place right now for Wilmot Creek from Falls Creek Road to near Four Corners. An evacuation shelter has been set up at Kettle Falls Middle School for those impacted. And several wildfires are burning tonight still in Franklin County. The Lions Ferry fire remains the largest at just over 34,000 acres. It is now 90% contained tonight. The Devil's Canyon fire is around 4,700 acres. It's 100% contained. And the Neff Jones fire, which has burned more than 7,000 acres, is also 100% contained. All evacuations for these fires have been lifted. About 20 miles northwest of Bonner's Ferry, the Upper Smith fire continues to burn. It's burned 877 acres and remains at 0% containment. There are no evacuations in place for this fire. Smith Creek Road and the Long Canyon Trail are closed to the public for the safety of fire crews working in that area. Today, Spokane County Commissioners publicly discussed a proposed 9-month moratorium on new data centers. Commissioners Amber Waldriff and Chris Jordan proposed it on Monday. The proposal comes after Avista announced it was in talks to support a 500-megawatt data center. Those talks are now on hold. County leaders, though, say they want to make sure that they've got the right rules in place before any large projects move forward.
I know that some people feel that moratoriums aren't necessary, but I would hate to see a data center come into Spokane County without any rules of the road that are influenced here by Spokane County stakeholders.
Now, Commissioners Al French and Chris Kearns both say a moratorium could send the wrong message, potentially discouraging companies looking to invest in Spokane County. Tonight, an investigation is underway after authorities arrested a 20-year-old Spokane man. Ethan Denmark is suspected of impersonating police officers after callers reported a black Ford Explorer was pulling vehicles over along Interstate 90 near Kittitas and Grant counties. Officials say the vehicle allegedly had police-style equipment and emergency lights. The arrest serves as a reminder for drivers to learn how to recognize a legitimate law enforcement officer during a traffic stop. So today we spoke with Washington State Patrol about some of the key signs of a fake cop car.
Telltale signs that we like to look for is, do they look like they should be in the vehicle? So this is a factory Ford police vehicle. So the vehicle came like this from the police division, and they only sell these as police vehicles. So they'll have the red and blue. They'll have the red and blue up on the top.
Now, Washington State Patrol says checking the patrol vehicle, the officer's uniform, asking to see an officer's commission card are all good steps to take if something just doesn't seem right. Former Shoshone County Sheriff Holly Lindsay served time in the Kootenai County Jail over the weekend after she pleaded guilty to careless or inattentive driving related to a 2025 crash at a gas station. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, she was sentenced to 90 days in jail. She served 4 days as the judge suspended the other 86. Lindsay must spend 2 years on probation, use an interlock device for 1 year, and pay a $300 fine. The charges stem from last October when prosecutors say Lindsay hit a pole outside a gas station in Osborne at about 5 miles an hour. No one was hurt, and she left her car there while someone drove her home. She resigned the next day. Lindsay told the court she was struggling with her mental health at the time of the crash. She says she numbed her feelings with alcohol and kratom. The future of parking in downtown Sandpoint is now up in the air after hearing concerns from people who live there. Residents, visitors, business owners, city leaders have now paused part of the new parking program as they look for a better path forward. KREM 2's Christian Garza has more tonight on what the city has planned for the future.
What started as a way to improve downtown parking has instead sparked frustration for those who live, work, and shop in Sandpoint. Now, city leaders are getting rid of a key item in that idea, and that's why you see these bagged kiosks all over the area. And they will remain this way until city leaders figure out next steps. For downtown businesses, every parking space can mean another customer walking through their doors. But over the last few weeks, some local shops say a new parking system actually drove people away.
Upon immediate implementation, the streets were empty.
John Bates, the owner of Bleeding Hearts Tattoo Emporium off of Main Street, says the sudden change made people avoid downtown altogether, causing the shop to lose close to 70% of their revenue in the 2 weeks the kiosks were there. That's compared to the first 2 weeks of July last year.
You know, summertime's a big walk-in time for us. We also pierce, which is a much more of a walk-in friendly aspect of our business. But it almost seemed like there wasn't a need to take walk-ins anymore because there just wasn't people walking in.
I spoke with a handful of businesses downtown, and while they didn't all want to go on camera, a couple of them said that they didn't even notice a change in day-to-day business. Sandpoint city leaders say this program has been in the works for about a year.
So this was initially and intended to be a soft launch.
Sandpoint Mayor Jeremy Grimm says at the City Council's last meeting, they decided to pause the kiosks to reevaluate and revert back to the 2-hour parking maximum that was in place before.
So without kiosks, there's really no way for us to implement a program that allows folks to stay more than 2 hours. So it's a process that's evolving.
The city reiterates that the kiosks downtown are offline, but kiosks in other city lots and City Beach are still active. Grimm says the City Council has not determined how the money from these kiosks will be spent, but he emphasizes that the city spends $1 million a year trying to upkeep city parks and amenities, which falls on the taxpayers.
So we just need to come up with a creative way to maintain these amenities and a fair way for everyone to help support them.
While conversations surrounding downtown parking will continue to happen, the city says the kiosks will remain paused until the end of summer. In Sandpoint, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
All right, stay with us. Ahead in 8 minutes, a local casino director's reaction after a judge ruled Kalshi is likely violating state law by operating their gambling platform in Washington. Plus, the Pentagon is asking for additional funding for the Iran war. How much the war has cost so far, that's coming up in 90 seconds.